Never before in history have the rights of older people been violated, as we have recently witnessed around the world. Older people have been left behind, voiceless, invisible, and expendable. Their basic needs have been ignored, neglected, or dismissed. Human rights are foundational elements for all human beings. If we permit and promote violations of human rights, today it is guaranteed to impact us all tomorrow. Therefore, we must protect these precious rights. Now is the time to stand up and rally for the rights of older people. I invite you all to join GARUP's global rally with the Age with Rights campaign to be held on March the 3rd from 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Colleagues, permit me to outline the root causes and manifestations of these violations. First, the world is aging rapidly. The number of people over age 65 will reach 1.5 billion by the year 2050. Every older person wishes to remain healthy, secure, and engaged in society, and no person wants to be referred to as a burden. Second, societal ageism, which is present in 1 out of 2 people globally for many decades. This has been brutally unleashed by the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic and disproportionately obliterated older people from the face of this earth. Third, monumental gaps in our society that permit deeply rooted ageism to disregard older people's rights. Multifaceted expressions are seen, including grave inequities, injustice, loss of dignity, intergenerational conflict, damage to global health and economy, barriers to the promotion of healthy aging. Complex intersections with ageism include mentalism, ableism, sexism, and racism, culminating in poorer quality of life and premature death. Inequity in accessing physical, mental, social, and end-of-life care, work injustice, transportation, safe and inclusive living options, lifelong learning, protection against elder abuse, financial insecurity, abetting the digital divide and climate change. And finally, exclusion from life-saving and life-enhancing research, collection of meaningful data. These are very important and critical elements by which governments, institutions, and corporations create the unfair and unjust ageist policies and laws. Exclusion, inequity, and debarring, and blatant abuse of the human rights of older people are seriously eroding their dignity, autonomy, and independence. Finally, the COVID-19 pandemic has been unprecedented, causing catastrophes to right to life, health, and dignity. Precipitous decline in physical, mental, cognitive, and functional health have resulted in severe frailty, anxiety, fear, depression, and suicide. In vogue, powerful ageist attitudes prevail of older people being expendable as they are considered near death anyway. These gut-wrenching and inhumane stories of older people and their suffering are abundant, shamefully normalized in popular and social media. Leave no one behind is the promise of the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Similarly, a core pillar of the United Nations Decade of Healthy Aging is to combat ageism, dangerously in need of protection. Both remain very distant, elusive goals and needs reframing of the aging narrative through societal, legislative, and policy measures. Colleagues, this is a call to action. What we permit, we promote. We must not permit the status quo, and now is the time to stand up and rally for the rights of older people. Every person around the world is called upon to do this, to promote the human rights of older people by uniting and calling on their governments to take immediate action. Governments and policymakers have a major role to play in this, and they must be held accountable and culpable if they do not participate. Make sure that you actively engage with your government and ask them to support the work of the open-ended working group that meets at the United Nations in New York from April 11th to the 14th, 2022. In conclusion, I challenge each of you to 2 things. 1, to enlist the support of 5 key people in your networks, who can each enlist the support of 5 others in a chain reaction in support of a United Nations legal instrument on the rights of older people. Second, enlist the support of your elected government official or officials in demanding that each member state actively participate at the open-ended working group and support the United Nations legal instrument on the rights of older people. Finally, please don't forget to join Garup's global rally on March the 3rd to ensure that we all age with rights. I thank you for your time and for listening.